Hello and welcome to BonkTable. I'm Mass and I'm bringing you another Conquest battle report. Today I am playing 100 Kingdoms, like every other time. Not surprising. It's like the one faction I play. And I'm going to be fighting Dweg. So let's go into lists and have a look at those. And today's list is Warlord. You guys have actually seen this one before if you watched episode 12 where I played this list into Dweghom. The reason why I'm playing this list today is because it was in my bag and that's what I had packed and I was too lazy to move anything, so this is why we're playing it. I'm not going to go super deep into this list, but basically you got, it's under Veterans, you got Dynastic Alliance, 2 Warlords, what's the Mounted Noble Lord, and the Priory Commander of the Crimson Tower. The Mounted Noble Lord has Olafhane's Roar, Weapon Master, Tip of the Lance. Got 2 units of 3 stands of Mountain Squires who are veterans with +1 clash with the Standard Bearer and Court Palatine. So there's that one there, and the other one right there. And then I got 2 units of Household Knights. I have a 5-stand block of Household Knights who are all veteraned up, and they go to class 3. That's really nice. And then I got my regular 3-stand block of Household Knights. What doesn't have veterans because I didn't have enough points, but really they're just there to tie up stuff, sit on zones, do whatever. Things I do want to say about this is Olafhane's Roar with Tip of the Lance for that, which it's just good with a big block of Household Knights. Like, they just get work done. And it's a really nice thing to flex into for your list, or a thing to like have that really hard-hitting hammer. Like, I really like them. So, and they get, Speed of Horse, so that gives them all +1 impact attack, so they go from impact 3 to impact 4, rerolling 6s. So, really good on that one big bust of Household Knights. Priory Commander of the Crimson Tower got that first Blessing Supremacy, so it's just going to give blessed everyone in his warband, so both Crimson Towers and both Ashen Dawn. If you already got blessed, you get to pick +1 attack or Harden +1. You're usually picking Harden. Kind of neat, especially because I'm going into Dweg. I have the Master of Disordering Strikes because I had 10 points left and was like, might as well. Here are my 2 units of Order of the Crimson Tower and Order of Ashen Dawn. All 4 of them have Standard Bearers, and they all have Wedge. Ashen Dawn are really great for being a tank, brawler. They can take hits, they can deal hits back. Order of the Crimson Tower, you're too expensive for what you're doing. Like, you're not doing enough at your point cost. that's kind of like my problem. But you're currently the only thing that can be a mainstay for Order of the Ashen Dawn, so I kind of have to take you if I want Order of the Ashen Dawn. Yeah, and that's really the list. Like, I'm not going to go super deep into this. It's just all horses all day. I'm going to slow roll my rules. I'm doing this one kind of fast just because it's like, it's horse. If you really want to see a deep dive of it, just go watch the start of episode 12. Why not? If you're just kind of into the battle report today, go to the battle report. But I'm going to slow roll my rules, and you can have a look at that. And that's it. This one's quick. I don't know what to say. I've played this list before, and I know what's going on with it. It's just Mounted Squire is really good for being up the table because they're speed 9. Household Knights, really, like the small one, really good for just scoring the zone or getting in the way. The bigger bus is really good for just being that real hard-hitting hammer. Order of Ashen Dawn, really good for being that like tanky, damage brawling unit. Order of the Crimson Tower, they kind of do work, they kind of don't. Like, they're I'm still not 100% on them. It's kind of my thing. But, I need them for what I really want with Order of the Ashen Dawn. But they get in there. I kind of use them to like score some stuff, and I kind of use them to like, hit some stuff, and it's just, I'll talk about them more while I'm in the game, probably, just because, like, I just want you to be good, guys. Come on, Order of the Crimson Tower. Be good for me. But with that, let's go look at my opponent's list. My opponent's playing Dweg, and they're named List to Run Next Time I Play, what I thought was amazing. This gentleman is playing with a Tempered Sorcerer who is fully juiced up and took the Cathodic Flame, so we'll talk about that one. And this is the Warlord, so it's the Element Precedence, so he's getting the double spell casting, so this Tempered Sorcerer can cast twice. It's under the Fire School, has Focus for re-rolling 2 failed dice rolls, and Arcane 1 through 3, so you get another Wizard level, you get to knock 2 off for scaling, and you get a free success. I'm just going to scroll down to find Cathodic Flame, because that one is actually kind of relevant for this thing does. Here we go. Enemy stands re-roll successful resolve tests when suffering wounds from this character stand. This is also applied to spellcasting actions. Because of course it needed to be. Anyway, so for 190 points, this wizard, I'll give you a little hint, just dominates Order of the Ashen Dawn. Like, this wizard Thanos snapped an entire unit to death, and I was like, oh, like that's really where I want to be today, with a Tempered Sorcerer Thanos snapping Ashen Dawn to death. But it's just really good. He's got the supremacy to just double cast. He has the army rule to gain tokens. Yeah, here we go. Element potency army rule. So you gain the tokens to prevent defense roll, or to automatically succeed on defense rolls. Like, Dweg players, your fire wizard's kind of your best guy. Like, nothing else, none of the other supremacies or like output from a character even remotely touches what the Tempered Sorcerer can just do. He's in a unit of 3 Hold Warriors with an Exemplar and a Herald of Stone. Herald of Stone just gives you Bastion 1 when they activate, and the Exemplar gives you +2 attacks on the command stand. It actually took me a moment, but I didn't realize that you could take 2 officers on Hold Warriors just off the bat. I never knew that, and it just let me, so I was like, oh, okay, I guess that's why. I don't know if that's wrong, but I did decide to put in 3 to check it, and then it gave me a warning that you could only have 2, so I was like, oh, I guess you can have 2. Exemplar, though, while the officer is present, the regiment adds +1 to the resolve characteristic, and the regiment's command stand gets +2 to its attack characteristics. In addition, the currently attached character stand gets +1 to its defense characteristics, so he's really just trying to like keep the Tempered Sorcerer alive. That's fine. Like, my opponent's just kind of playing with what he's got, and don't worry, this Tempered Sorcerer kills so many things. But yeah, the Hold Warriors are a good like tanky unit because get that Bastion, so they're 2 to shield to 3, 4 from the Bastion. They get the Resolve 3 going to 4. There's 4 stands, so they're going to 5. Yeah, they go to 5. But you can like dock off a stand and they're down to 4. But still, like, he's trying to keep them alive as long as possible because he's got the Tempered Sorcerer there. And then my opponent is running another Tempered Sorcerer, except this guy has Heart of the Mountain and the Hellbringer Sorcery, so he is on the Hellbringer Drake. That means when the Hellbringer Drake activates, the Hellbringer Drake gets the automatic draw event of Overcharge or Bastion +1. It's up to the Drake. That's really nice. You just get you get your Overcharge action as now a draw event. And Heart of the Mountain, I believe, is a once per game increase your attunement by 1. So attunement 3 goes to 4 and attunement 4 goes to 5. Yeah, there he goes. Adds attunement +1. So attunement 3 becomes attunement 4. And you can only do it once per game. Oh, and it's a draw event, so even better. Oh, that's really nice. I do believe he uses this to, like, just outload a massive flame wall on me at one point. That's kind of fun. He's got a unit of Hold Ballistae. They got a Standard Bearer. I believe everything in his list has a Standard Bearer. Then we got a Hold Ray, who's just a decked out combat guy. Perfectly balanced, gives him, like, Quicksilver Strike. Baptized in Combat. We can find out what that does. There we go. This character stand, all friendly character stands gain Quicksilver. Okay, that was perfectly balanced, dude. Is it the one that gets rid of Quicksilver? Character adds +1 to its attack characteristic, and the enemy cannot make use of their Quicksilver. Yeah, so this guy was just set up to duel, and he's combat 1 through 3. So he's gonna be a dueling guy, but he's also 7 attacks at Clash 5 with Cleave 1. Like, that's still really good, just to like smack people around. Then he's brought 6 block of Hold Thanes with Herald of Stone and a Standard Bearer, so they're going to get to that defense 5 because they're 3 base, 1 from the shield, 1 from Bastion. And there's 6 of them, so that's going to be great. They got their Clash 3 with Cleave 1, so I really like Hold Thanes just because they can take a hit and just deal it back. Like, they're very much a brawling unit, and they're really good to do that. Then he's got 6 Dragonslayers. Does he have 6 dragons? I had to deal with this unit in this game. You'll see it, where I'm just like throwing horses at it to try and kill this damn thing. But it was like, what the fuck? Why would you ever bring 6 dragons? I was like, oh my god, how am I gonna deal with this? Because I knew I had to pick one. I either could kill the Hold Thanes or I could kill the Dragonslayers. And I just like, but I wasn't gonna get both with my army. So I really had to pick my choices. I think going for the Dragonslayers was probably the correct choice. But My god, they took so many guys. It took a while to kill them. And then he's got his Hold Warriors, who are just leader and standard. He's using these as objective chuds. They just sit on zones. Same thing like my Household Knights. And yeah, so I'm gonna slow roll his rules, and you can see what he's playing, or not what he's playing. You can see what his rules are, and you can pause the video at any time and read them if you like. But yeah, boom. Them's the rules. Let's go on to the actual match. Well, no, we have to do scenario. Let's go on to scenario. So today we're playing on Forlorn Hope. The big thing about this scenario that you got to be careful about is that there's no reinforcement from the middle 2 feet of the table. So you're just gonna probably come up from the regular deployment. Like, you're not gonna like side come in like so, because it's like only 1 foot up, and like what's the point kind of thing. For zones, we have a 12er, and we got 12er craftsman, and then we got 6 and the other 6, and then we have these 2 neutral objectives right here in the middle. So players gain 3 VPs for the enemy objective markers that have been destroyed during the round, so those 2 objectives. They gain 2 VPs for every objective zone. They gain an additional 4 VPs if they're seizing 3 or more zones. They gain 2 VPs for killing an enemy warlord, 2 for killing a character, and 2 for killing an enemy regiment. So if you kill the regiment that the enemy warlord is in, that's just like an easy 6 points right there. So it's kind of a very, very incentivized to go warlord hunting in this scenario. I don't mind this one. I kind of like it, but also I kind of want like the zones, just be like a little closer. Like these 6s especially. Just so that they're not as far away from the 12s. I don't mind the 12s being so far back, is because they are bigger. So you can have a regiment just like sit at the edge and still be relevant to the like the center. Like if you're sitting right there, you can like shoot off to go that way. You can shoot off to go forward. But like this, or you can go shoot off this way. But I find the 6-inch ones, they're just too small, and they're not forward enough to really matter. Like, how do I really put that? Like, they're too small and they're further back. So if you want a regiment to threaten and be relevant to the table, you kind of you can't, because they're stuck in that zone trying to score it, and they're not near anything really to like help out, like to shoot the objective in the middle. You'd probably get away with shooting it, but it'd be a little tough. Or contribute shots into your opponent's zone right here across from it. So it's just kind of like Terrain's not too bad, because you can put stuff like here and here and here. And if you really want, you have like all this side space right here to put stuff, and then you can put stuff there and there. But I do like want terrain in the zones, as I start just drawing circles all over the board. Yeah, like you guys have heard me talk about it, where it's just put the terrain in the zones. It like, don't put something oppressive in the zone, but like putting terrain in the zones frees it up to where you can put terrain. And it's just, it kind of affects the table differently, because like each scenario, the terrain set up for each scenario becomes very repetitive based on where you put terrain. So with that, let's go look at our table. Here's the table. There's the 12-inch zone. I'm just gonna circle this for everyone real quick. The 12, the 6s, and the 2 objectives. There we go. We have 3 size 2 forests. There they are. And then we have 2 size 2 houses. So they're obscuring and obstructing, so you can't so you can't move through them. The forests are obscuring. Are they obstructing? But you can move through them. I think I haven't played this game in a while. Hope everyone's ready for the greatest battle report ever. And then we got the 2 water features. So -1 clash while half your regiment stands are in there. So don't you can toe into it and touch it, but you don't want more than half there. This table is kind of like straight on open for lanes between each zones, right there and there. And the only thing that really relatively comes up to be in the way is this center forest I found in the game. Like everything else just kind of got ignored. I think there was one moment where I was checking out line right here to like have a unit of cavalry. It was like here, thread that house and attack my opponent's regiment. I was kind of like sitting right there, so I was just kind of like making sure I wasn't going to hit the house or anything. But it was fine. But yeah, it was really the force in the middle of the table. It actually mattered for some line of sight stuff, but I kind of just got around it because the regiments were so long. I just kind of was like, oh, I see you from this corner. I can make the charge. Yeah, that's the table. Let's go look at turn 1. Here's turn 1. I automatically get on my mounted squire, and I roll the 4 down to get my other mounted squire, and my opponent gets their hold ballistas in. I believe I lose the roll off. And so I go first. I just run up a unit of mountain squires, ping, and then my opponent goes and just runs up his whole ballista to get into the zone, and then I run up my other unit of mountain squires here. And what I'm looking for here is I'm actually trying to put both my mounted squires to very quickly kill this objective right here. Circle it in green. There you go. Because I just want to get it done and out of the way as quickly as possible, because it frees up space where I can put stuff. So, Household Knights, Order of the Crimson Tower, Ashen Dawn. And it also scores me 3 points and it's out of the way. I don't have to worry about it ever again. And then I can, shoot the mounted squires off to go into the zone. I can shoot them off to go for that zone. I can go and get my opponent's objective. And it frees me up to go do that. While my opponent has his whole ballista in that zone, except I believe only one of them is within 9 inches or half range to shoot the objective. So I know next turn is just going to move over a bit, so he can get 2 stands in and then shoot the objective to start getting points. So he should have looked at it a bit more and probably positioned himself, I'm going to use this color, more so this way, so that he can still maintain shots into the objective while still being in the zone if he wants to contest it, because he knows I'm much faster than him. And that's really it for turn 1, and where kind of people are thinking and going. So let's have a look at turn 2. Here's turn 2. I succeed on getting in my 1 unit of Household Knights. I didn't bring in the Mounted Noble Lord because I really only need him on the table like next turn or the turn after, because it's my big hammer unit, and right now we're still establishing like the lines and everything. My opponent gets his Hellbringer Drake and Wizard on, and then brings in his 3-stand scoring unit of Hold Warriors. So they just ran up, as you can see, to get within 3 inches of that zone so they can score it. My opponent then, he's like, it's your turn. I'm like, cool. My mounted squires, as you can see, went and charged the objective. That was right here. They both went into it. They both killed it. And I got my 3 points there. My opponent, on the other hand, though, did what I said he was going to do before. Shimmy over. Got 2 of the stands within 9, shot his objective, puts a point into it, so that's good on him. And then he has his his Hellbringer Drake, just kind of run up the table here, and starts looking to score this zone right here with it, and threat project, there we go, kind of that, and that. So it's covering that flank with that Hellbringer Drake, can shoot his wizard off of it, can shoot the Hellbringer Drake off of it, and score that zone. Fine and dandy. Good on it. For myself, my Household Knights just run up here because I'm looking to just run them straight into the Drake so that I don't have to... What was it? This turn we did like a pre-measure. I just went and set up a bunch of my widgets, you can see. And I need like... I think I can march charge it with like a 3 re-rolling or a 4 re-rolling with like a 75% chance. So I'm like, oh, okay, like Household Knights get into it, and then once that happens, the wizard has to shoot the Household Knights, the Drake has to shoot the Household Knights, like it keeps it from trying to kill everything else off. It's really nice. And then I'm also scoring the zone right here because I'm within 3 of that zone. We're kind of playing that like, oh, where are we going? Like that dance, that skirmishing dance to figure out like where our ranges are and who's gonna get to who. But for points, I'm at 5 and he's at 2. And that's really it for turn 2. Let's go to turn 3. Here's turn 3. And there's some missing things, but I brought some stuff back. I roll the 4 down and get my Household Knight with the Mounted Noble Lord. I then also automatically bring in a unit of Order of Ashen Dawn, and I roll one of the 2 downs and get the other Order of Ashen Dawn in. My opponent picks the Hold Ray with Hold Thanes to automatically come in, and then rolls the 4 down to get their Tempered Sorcerer in. First things first, my opponent's like, you can go first. I'm like, cool, I draw a character. And my opponent goes, oh, okay. And he knows that the Household Knights, who you can currently see are in the Drake, are going to be trying to come for that Drake. So he's like, I'm going to be tricky. I'm going to get the Drake to go shoot the objective. And then I'm going to, kind of kill it while using the whole Ballistae to come up and block the Drake and cover it. And I'm like, okay, sure. So he moves the whole Ballistas, so they're about here. And they are blocking the charge to the Drake. And I'm like, okay, so then the Household Knights, who were sitting back here, can no longer just direct charge the Drake. And I'm like, okay, well, I still have my Mounted Squires. So the first unit of Mounted Squires goes in, side charges the whole Ballistaes, and does a bunch of damage with Opportunist. First time I got to use that rule. What allows you to reroll your hit rolls when you're in the flank of an enemy, or flank or rear of an enemy regiment. So I did that and killed all the whole Ballistaes. I'm like, sweet. Ignoring their shield because in the flank, and just cut through them. Before his whole Ballistaes go there, I just started drawing characters. He had his Drake kind of like you see here spin, and just shoot that objective right there. So he's knocked it down to 1 wound. And now I've killed his whole Ballistas, because this is like my 3rd card as this Mounted Squire finally moves to go do that. And I'm like, okay, sweet. And then now this Drake is actually slightly closer to my Household Knight, so I'm like, even better. But it's still a march charge to get in there. And I think I then deploy my next unit of Household Knights right here, because I know the Dragonslayers are coming at some point, and I didn't know where his Hold Warriors and Tempered Sorcerer were going to be, so I was like, you know what, I'll put them out there. Then the Order of the Ashen Dawn are kind of fill in the spots where the Mounted Squires used to be, and we'll go from there. So my last card's going to be the Household Knights. So that's fine. He then just has his Hold Thanes run up the table. I'm like, okay, cool. The Drake's in the way, so I don't have to deal with them. I then move up my Order of Ashen Dawn. Cool. I believe this unit of... who are these guys? Hold Warriors. They kind of just move up here. It's fine. He then has his Tempered Sorcerer, who's on top of the Drake, goes, flame walls, and burns those Mounted Squires to death. And I'm like, shit. My next unit of Mounted Squires, who are right here, because they were fighting that objective, if you recall from last turn. This is slowly getting more and more pushed up. I just run them to get into this forest, because I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put them. His Tempered Sorcerer hasn't come out yet, so I'm like, okay, where that guy going to go? I'm just going to put my guys in the woods, and, I'll figure it out next turn. That was a bad move on my part, because he has the Hold Warriors run up the table, and I'm like, oh shit, that's the double cast wizard. And he's like, yeah, and you're within 14, so you're going to get fireballed. And I'm like, oh god. So you can imagine what happened when this Tempered Sorcerer finally activates, does a double cast, and just fireballs and just destroys this unit. So far the Tempered Sorcerers have killed 2 units of Mounted Squires. Yay! Finally, my Household Knights, who are back here, charge in, get to that position, and knock the Drake down to, we kind of see right here, I'm just going to use red, 7 wounds. So half its health in damage from the impacts and resolves, and I really wanted that Mounted Noble Lord on the table before I did that, so I get that little extra bit of rerolling on the 6s so that I could actually hit him. And that's about his turn. So I score this zone and this zone for 4 points. My opponent scores that zone with the Drake in it and this little zone over here for 4 points. I've killed one regiment, my opponent's killed 2 regiments, so he gets 4 points for killing the 2, and I get 2 points for killing the 1. And that's turn 3. So let's have a look at turn 4. Here's turn 4, and a couple things don't go super well for me. So for things that come on the table for my opponent and I, we have his Dragonslayers come on, so now his entire list is on the table, and both my Crimson Towers come on. The thing that happens first is I believe he wins the roll-off, and he has his Tempered Sorcerer on the Drake, right here. Flame Wall, this unit of Household Knights. I'm going like, oh boy, and I immediately lose 2, as you can see there. I think that that Household Knight's like on 1 or 2 health. Like he's gonna die. It's not doing very well for him at all. And then I have this Household Knight like attack him. He gets knocked down, and then I think the Drake goes and cleaves, and he's down to like 1 health now, and it's like, okay, cool. So Drake's at 2, my Household Knight's broken in at 1. Oh, like this is really good, but my only like good thing what's happening here is that because the Drake is still alive and engaged with the Household Knight, the Hold Thanes can't go anywhere because the Drake's in the way, and they can't move through the Drake because he's in combat with the Household Knight. So this is what's keeping me alive here in that zone. So like, okay. Next thing what happens, his Hold Warriors, I believe, charge the objective and kill it. And I'm like, okay, well, the next thing on my list is the Order of the Ashen Dawn. So I have this unit on the right here. These guys, I'm just going to circle. As you can tell, they were back where the Crimson Towers were. And I'm like, that's a march charge. And if all I need to do to get in is to roll like a 3, I can roll a 3 with a reroll, they'll be fine. I rolled a 1 and a 2. So I marched and then moved up 2 inches and got to where they currently are. So I was like, yay, this is so great. I really love this. Because I need to go kill that Tempered Sorcerer. Like, he needs to go, he needs to die. Like, you gotta, when you're playing Dweg, you have to kill the double casting Sorcerer, then the Hellbringer Drake with the Sorcerer, then any remaining Hellbringer Drakes, and then any other guns. Like, you need to kill all the Dweg players' range options, but getting there is the really tough part. But I have speed on horse, like, let's get there, let's go. So, first charge failed. Kind of sucky, but okay. My opponent then, I believe he like dead draws some characters. We kind of go back and forth a little bit. I then have my next unit of Ashen Dawn, who are here. Oh no, the sorcerer before, who's hiding behind this Ashen Dawn. You can see there, this guy's at like 1 wound, unloads like the fireball spell and the long range spell into those Ashen Dawn, and does 5 wounds. So I'm like, okay, took some damage, not the end of the world though. And then I have that unit of Ashen Dawn on the right there, march charge. This was a 2 with a reroll, and I get it, and I get in there and I do like 4 points of damage, as you can see. So yay, those Ashen Dawn are now in. They're engaging the double cast wizard. Hopefully they can live. Oh my god, hopefully they can live and I can like kill this thing. Because like Ashen Dawn should be able to kill a bunch of Hold Warriors. I just need to like win initiative next turn and just slaughter them before they do anything. That's what I was hoping for. We'll see how that turns out. My opponent has his Dragonslayers move up the table because he has this hole here and he needs to fill this gap because a bunch of cavalry is coming in from that side. He's kind of blocked up on the right side. So Dragonslayers, you know, filling up that spot. It'll protect the Tempered Sorcerer. He just needs to get those Ashen Dawn off them, and then, you know, he can have me fight. Ashen Dawn and Dragonslayers can fight, and Household Knights can fight Dragonslayers, and Crimson Tower can fight Dragonslayers, and you can just cast spells. But right now, his big thing is he has to clear those Ashen Dawn. My next move here is my Household Knights, as you can see are right here, but wait, didn't you need to, like, roll a 2 with a reroll for a march charge to kill a bunch of Hold Warriors? Yeah, you're right. Guess who didn't roll a 2 with a reroll? This guy. So the Household Knights of the Mounted Noble Lord just move 8. I'm like, fucking kill me. Like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, just the lack of rolls for charges. Like, oh. I was super excited. He just keeps the Hold Warriors there. I don't know if they move. I think they moved to like 17.1. I literally needed a 2, but I just rolled double 1s and couldn't get there. And I was like, this fuck me. The Ray and the Hold Thanes just kind of stay where they are. They can't really go anywhere because, like I've said before, the Drake's in the way. And then I just run both my Order of the Crimson Tower up to score each zone to keep that scoring going because I gotta score points to win. And yeah, this is where we are. For scoring, my opponent got this zone, or not this zone, this objective, so that's 3 points for them. Scored that zone and that zone, that's another 2 points. I score my 2 back zones, so that's another 2 points for me. No one killed anything, but I'm kind of in a rough spot because if he wins initiative, he's going to use those those tokens for elemental potency to just remove damage. I need to kill that wizard. He has Dragonslayers ready to just mulch on Ashen Dawn. He has a bunch of Hold Thanes, but my only saving grace is that Hellbringer Drake is in the way, but it's being tied up by Household Knights. Like, it's really, like, this could swing either way right now, and I'm like, ooh. Oh, let's find out where it goes. Ooh. Let's go have a look at turn 5 and figure out where it goes. Here's turn 5. And my opponents, I'm just going to draw Hold Warriors with the Tempered Sorcerer here. My opponent wins the roll to go first. He double casts with the Tempered Sorcerer and does, I believe he leaves 1 Ashen Dawn with 3 health left. That's his first activation. So I'm like, I have 1 Ashen Dawn with 3 health left. Like, crap, what am I going to do? Because my card is the Order of the Ashen Dawn. So I decide to have this unit right here, as you can see. That unit used to be right here. They charge into those Hold Warriors. My opponent has 8 tokens. He spends 3 of them to reduce my impact damage, and then he spends the next 5 to reduce my clash damage. And I think I kill a stand. I kill the 2 back stands, and I kill, what is it? Put some wounds on the next stand. So right now the Tempered Sorcerer is broken, but that's okay. It's alive and fine. So, and then the next one I do is I have, what does he do? I believe he has does he have the Draco? I think he has the Draco. No, he doesn't have the Draco. I believe he has his Wizard go on the Drake next. And just kills off this last Household Knight so that it's dead. He gets his 2 points and gets rid of that Household Knight so he can actually start doing stuff. And then the Drake goes, and I think from the last photo, this thing like starts shimming over this way because he's trying to get side shots into people, and he just shoots and kills the last Order of the Ashen Dawn with the Drake. He just unloads like 60 or 12 shots into it, and it's down to like 3 health, so he just puts shots into it so it gets through. This was my Supremacy turn to get that Blessed and the Hardened 1, so I was keeping my Order of the Ashen Dawn alive a little longer. It was kind of nice. But it killed off that's what killed off the Order of the Ashen Dawn, was the Drake and the double casting Tempered Sorcerer. Just ripped through them. Next thing we got going is this Household Knight. I don't think he gets to attack. He just, like, I think that Drake's like on 2 life left if he did attack, but whatever. Then I have my Household Knights on the right here. They just charge in and kill those Hold Warriors, wipe them out. And then I just move past the line of sight of the Dragonslayers because he's having his Dragonslayers go last. So he had their line of sight go like this, so I just move past them so I can still charge them and swing around to go places next turn. And then the Dragonslayers, who were right at that position, they charge into that Order of Ashen Dawn unit who killed who are in a fight with the Tempered Sorcerer and knock it down to like 2 health left. As you can see, there's only 1 Order of the Ashen Dawn left. So I'm like, great. We've lost a bunch of guys. None of his stuff has died. I need to kill something. So like, well, I can do the same thing I did before. Have this unit of Order of the Crimson Towers march charge, roll a 2 with a reroll, and get in there. And he's already blown through all his spellcasting tokens, so I can probably just do like 3 damage on the charge and kill off the last stand to make the wizard run off. And that's what I do. So they move in there, they do with their Brutal Impact 2s, and they just kill off them. I'm like, great, sweet. His Hold Thanes, he just kind of moves them up at this point, because I think I dead draw a bunch of characters, and he just moves them up and just sits there, because he doesn't know where the Order of the Crimson Tower are going. And then my last real activation is I start spinning this Order of Crimson Tower on this point, so they're still towing this zone and I'm scoring it, but they are ready to charge in, and that's a terrible, let's use this color. They're ready to charge in there. There, that's my line. To get in and hit those Dragonslayers next turn. Because the Dragonslayers are stuck on that 1 unit of Order of Ashen Dawn. And he probably wants to clear that first or do something to it. And I need to try and kill these Dragonslayers because all my damage units, so the 2 Orders of Crimson Tower and my Household Knights are all around those Dragonslayers. That's the easiest unit to kill next. and then I can swing and look at dealing with the Drake, what's on 2 life, and that massive Thane block. But I believe he is outside of 3 here, so he doesn't score that zone. I scored 6 for his Tempered Sorcerer, who's a Warlord character, and the Regiment of Hold Warriors. What's great on my end. He scores 2 for the Hold Thanes, and I score 2 for having this 12er. It's kind of stabilizing my favor, but it's really going to be decided, can I kill this Dragonslayer block, and then can I keep enough things on scenario to keep it going. So let's go look at turn 6 and see how that goes. Here's turn 6, and a couple things happen. So, first things first, Dragonslayers are sitting about here. Boop. And he wins the roll-off. And the first thing he does is he moves the Drake another 3.5 inches over, so he could draw a line of sight, I'm just using dots, to the Order of the Ashen Dawn. That one guy left, I think he had like 1 health left. And he shoots him and kills him. So I'm like, okay, cool, that guy's dead. And now the Dragonslayers haven't used their activation, so they're going to kill someone. So what's my next card? It's my turn. I draw the Order of Crimson Towers, and so, well, I got them like sitting here. I'm going to swing around and side charge them like that. Okay, so I do their charge, I'm automatically in, I just pivot 90 degrees, slam into them, close, and I'm now right here. I do a bunch of damage. I think I kill a stand and put some wounds on another stand. So the Dragonslayers have hardened 2. So my Brutal Impact 2 and my Cleave 1 from Edge doesn't matter. So that was great and fantastic, but I'm just rolling dice. I'm just like, here, take quality. Or quality. Take quantity. There's no quality here. It's just quantity of attacks. And I'm like, okay, there we go. There's a bunch of damage, and I think that's like a stand and a bit dead. And I'm like, what's your next card? And he goes, he draws his Dragonslayers. And I'm like, oh, sweet. And we start looking through the combat reform rules, and he just has to roll his lowest resolve, and it's at 5 because he has like 5 stands on these things, and because 6s are always fail, so he just rolls the 5, and he combat reforms like so. So he brings like 5 stands onto my Crimson Towers, attacks at Clash 4, and just kills them all. And I'm like, sweet, this is exactly what I wanted. And he goes, what's your next card? And I'm like, this unit of Order of the Crimson Towers, who now just are in the back end of the Dragonslayers, basically just do like a full like pivot into their butts. I'm just gonna extend this a little bit because I think they're about here. Yeah. And then I just, you know, do my Brutal Impact 2s, what are ignored by Harden, so I just do all my impact attacks, and then I do all my clash attacks. 3 of these stands are in, plus the commander. This guy over here who has the flag is out, so he only does 1 support. And they do enough damage where I break and then shatter the unit. So I didn't have to kill 1 stand, and that was great on my end, because I'm like, oh, thank goodness. So the Dragonslayers are dead. And I'm like, okay, opponent, what's your next card? And he goes and grabs his Tempered Sorcerer on the Hellbringer Drake and shoots like a fireball into them. And I'm like, sweet. That's exactly what I wanted. And I believe this guy in the back here is down to 1 health. And I'm like, alright, well, made a bunch of saves. Or no, it wasn't the fireball, because fireball's range 14. It's the long range one, like concentration or concussion or combustion or something. So it's not doing any armor pierce, but it's just a bunch of dice coming at me. So like he goes down to like 1 health. I'm like, alright, cool. I then bring my Household Knights, who are right here. They come around, get on top of that zone. Just draw that in with green, so there's like a zone right here. Scoring that. My opponent reforms and marches up his Hold Thanes, because he's like, oh, you're gonna come and fight me, and I'm like, yeah, I really don't want to. I don't have enough stuff to like kill the Hold Thanes and kill the Drake and everything, and I'm kind of down on points, I believe, so I need to like score some points. And that's really it for the end of the turn. So he's scoring that zone, I'm scoring this zone. He's killed a unit of Crimson Towers, I've killed a unit of Dragonslayers. I believe turn 7 is next, and it really comes down to the Drake has 2 life left. Can I kill it and not lose anything? That's the question. So let's go find out. Let's go look at turn 7. Here's turn 7. And he wins the roll-off. his Drake goes and just shoots into the... He just gets the Drake to go first. He just shoots into the Crimson Towers. I'm just going to draw him back here. So he just shoots into those guys. Bam, 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 bam. I take a wound and lose my rightmost stand. What's this guy? So we'll just do... And I'm like, okay, sweet. This makes this a lot easier. Because now he's like, all right, it's your turn. And I'm like, okay, cool. I declare the charge into the Drake. I do that march. I march to here. And then I charge into the Drake from there. And I swing, pass. And so now I'm like this. And then I just charge into the Drake and then close, as you can see. And with Brutal Impact 2, it being defense 3, I think does he overcharge? I think he chose Bastion, so he's like defense 2. But he only had 2 wounds left, and he's taking 12 impact attacks. One of them at Clash 4 and the other 2 at Clash 3. Just kills the Drake, so I get another 4 points for that, and I don't have to deal with the Wizard anymore. My opponent decides to just move up his Hold Thanes. And then, because he's thinking, okay, well, the Drake's dead, but now he's going to come in with his Household Knights, because my Household Knights are, like, over here. And I go, nah, and I just back up. So I'm still within just 3 inches of the zone. So I can score it, and I just back up, and he's like, oh, shit. And I'm like, yep. And he's like, that's the end of the turn. I'm like, yep. And he's like, I think you win. I'm like, well, no. And I told him what he had to do. He had to basically reform and then charge into the Crimson Towers next turn and kill those guys for 6 points while sitting in his zone, and he wins. Like, I won't be able to catch up after that. So it's going to be decided by whoever wins Supremacy next turn. And he's like, okay, we'll go to turn 8 and we'll see if I can do it. I'm like, okay, cool. So let's us, you as the audience and me as the commentator, go look at turn 8. Here's turn 8. Guess who won Supremacy? It was me. I was like, adios amigos. I just run away. I just wheel and run. I believe these guys are not within 3, like they're a hair out of the zone, and I was like, oh, okay, whatever. But he's like, he's still scoring his zone, I'm still scoring mine. Turn 9 and turn 10, I'm going to get these guys into the zone and score that for another 2 points for those 2 turns, and at that point I believe I'm up on points and I win. So that's the game. Let's go look at that intern point, because I believe I'm still winning, but he had a chance to bring it back. Yeah, here we go. So I'm at, that's 24 plus 15, so that's 39. And my opponent is at 10, 20 plus 16, 36. So yeah, just write it on the table. Bam! I'm at 39. And we ended this game at turn 8, so we counted it up. So another 2 turns, I'm still in the lead, and I'm still winning. But that was a very close game. That was a nail biter. Like, oh my god. I'm gonna talk about the juiced flame wizard. This guy was just like, just snapping horses to death. He didn't even care. I'm like, all right, Order of the Ashen Dawn, you can live against this guy. Nope. It's so good. It was 190 points, and he's just immolated. Like, immolated? That's the word. Immolated. Entire unit of Mountain Squires 1 spell, and I was like, holy shit. Destroyed a unit of Ashen Dawn. Like, the guy is so powerful. Like, my opponent wasn't playing an optimized list for Dweg even remotely, and it was just like, yeah, I can kill the best unit that 100 Kingdoms has. Like, let me do it for you, and he just flamed everything, and I'm like, oh. Like, oh my god, it's so good. Like, if you're a Dweg player and you want to win games, I'm gonna tell you, get a Tempered Sorcerer, give him Focused, Arcane 3, Cathodic Flame, it's kind of if you have points or not, you take it, but you're double casting, you have the tokens to make to automatically pass defense rolls. Like, oh, it's so good. It is so good. And then you just, like, go get yourself some Fireforge and put that guy in Fireforge. Like, he was in a unit of Hold Warriors. Like, that list completely changes once he gets into Fireforge. Because Fireforge are defense 4 base. They're 3+1 from the shield. Like, it's like, oh my god. And they're AP 2 with a gun. Like, and they have a pretty good range, because I think they're range 14 and the Fireball's range 14. So, it's still really good for the Tempered Sorcerer, and he can just like sit back and just they can all unload into people. The Hellbringer Drake Sorcerer is still really good. You can see over the world and just start casting at people. Like, it's just really good. Dragonslayers, really good. That block of 6, I was scared. Like, I just had to throw dice at it until it died, and it just it was like it was gonna kill a unit a turn, and I just need to throw enough stuff at it until it died before it killed a unit a turn. The big mistake my opponent probably made, well, it didn't probably make, the big mistake they did make was that they had their Hold Thanes tied up behind the Hellbringer Drake. And I purposely did that to just like tie up the Drake. Yes, I wanted to kill it, but I wanted to kill it when I had stuff available to go fight the Hold Thanes, and that game I had nothing available to fight the Hold Thanes or continue tying up the Hold Thanes or whatever, because I was losing stuff in other places to the other wizard. And I need to go kill that thing first, and I was like, okay, this thing has to die, so I just gotta throw guys at it. And I'm just like, alright, you know, like a 3 with a reroll, I can do this. Oh no, a 2 with a reroll, I can, no, I'm like, charge rolls weren't going my way. But yeah, not having those Hold Thanes commit, like, do anything or fight at all during that entire game really helped me win this game. Yes, they were scoring, and there's nothing I could do to stop them, but I never had to deal with them, was the big thing. Like, I had to deal with the Drake. I had to deal with the Tempered, yeah, he's a Tempered Sorcerer. I had to deal with the Flame Wizard. I had to deal with the Dragonslayers. But I never had to deal with the Hold Thanes just because they were blocked up. And that was like a saving grace on my end. I think Order of the Ashen Dawn, they did what they needed to do. They still died to shooting. They still died to magic. That's kind of, it gets around blessed. And that's kind of what you have to do to kill them. Like, I've heard people are like, oh, Order of the Ashen Dawn are OP, they're super good. It's like, no, you're not putting their hunter, like, you're not putting their hunters into those things. Like, the things what hunt Order of the Ashen Dawn are good guns and magic, what Dweg has. So just Dweg. For other factions, though, there is the armor-piercing statues out of Old Dominion. That'd be a really good one. Even, like, the Cleave 3 Linebreaker guys, those would be, like, Minotaurs from City-States. Those guys would be really good in 2. Ashen Dawn. Because, like, Defense 4 going down to Defense 1, like, with reroll from Bless, like, you're still getting a ton of hits in. Like, you're gonna do it. Even if it's during that Harden turn from the Supremacy ability, their Defense 2, like, you're still doing a ton of hits and stuff. Because, like, the Cleave 3 Dragonslayers just did a ton of damage into Ashen Dawn. I was like, oh, bless this, at Defense 1. Yay! No, they were Hardened 1 too, so they were Defense 2. Yay! So, you know, it will do work. But if you're putting in, like, Men-at-Arms, Hoplites, Legionnaires, Praetorian Guard, any of that, like, mainstay stuff, like, nah, it's not going to do anything. You need the tool for the job to kill Ashen Dawn, and my opponent had the tools for the job in the Wizards and the Dragonslayers to kill Ashen Dawn. I still like the horse list. I still don't know how I feel about Crimson Towers. Ashen Dawn are kind of needed for them to be good to set up when they can charge stuff by holding things long enough for them to just get there and then charge that thing. But I don't know if they really do the damage output still. Like, it's kind of tough. Like, yeah, I did a charge clash into Dragonslayers, but because of Harden 2, I didn't get to use any of my Brutal Impact 2. I didn't get to use any of my Cleave 1, and it was like, whatever. But that's like, that was a target, but I knew that when I was going in, and I was like, either fight the Defense 5 Thanes with Harden 1, or to fight the Defense 3 Dragonslayers with Harden 2. Like, I probably have an easier time killing Dragonslayers. And also the Thanes were tied up because they had their own unit, like, in the way, so they couldn't even get to me. I think my opponent should have reformed those Thanes and tried to get between the Drake and the double cast wizard, like the Warlord wizard, sooner. Like, once that position was made, he should have just started making, like, spending the Thanes turns instead of just moving forward, was to try and get around everyone so that they could push forward. Because the Drake can sit in that zone as long as it lives. And that's fine. I got to use Opportunist on Mountain Squires. I liked it. It was good. That was a first, kind of. Well, not kind of. It was a first. Because I never put value in Opportunist because I never got a side charge. And it was like, this is the first side charge I got. Yay! It's just because Mounted Squires don't really make it around long enough to do a side charge, I find, a lot of the time. And my opponent kind of gave me that one because they were protecting the Drake. Like, they were putting more value in the Drake than the whole Ballistes, like they should. And so, you know, I got to use the rule. yeah, I think that's about it. Overall, good game. I had a fun time with my opponent. It was really nail-biting and like stressful for me, where I'm just watching this wizard just blow shit up, and I'm like, okay, how am I gonna bring it back? How am I gonna bring it back? Like, I'm fighting on the back foot here. I gotta like pick and choose where I'm gonna go. I really gotta make some like conscious decisions and like really like bring everything together to hit stuff. And at the end, I pulled through and won the game. Thank you for watching. If you're interested in more BonkTable content, we have a podcast. You can find that anywhere you listen to podcasts, and I even post them on YouTube. You can check them out for the meme. We also have a Discord server, so if you want to go check out our Discord, it's in the link below. Come on down and, you know, have some fun. Enjoy yourself. And yeah, I hope everyone had fun enjoying this content, and I'll see you next time. Bye!